If I'm being 100% honest, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Anthony Davis requesting a trade is a surprise to me. If you've been watching the NBA, you already knew something like this was bound to happen. Just because the Pelicans franchise is not a franchise that has shown the ability to recruit. Let me check my audio real quick. To recruit the Pelicans franchise. Alright, sorry if you're hearing the double audio. But the franchise has not shown the ability to recruit. They did get Drew Holiday. They got Julius Randle this year. But besides that, they never really landed any big names in free agency. Back when we had Chris Paul, we had a solid team. You had Peja Stojakovic, you had Tyson Chandler. I believe we still had Morris Peterson, and I can't remember exactly everybody else that we had, but that was a solid team. But that team was basically ran by the greatness of Chris Paul, and that's pretty much the same thing that's happening with the New Orleans Pelicans. The reason this team is having any type of success is because of Anthony Davis. It's not because of the coach. It's not because of the players. Even though Drew was okay and Rondo was pretty good for us last year, all in all, none of those players would be what they would be, or we wouldn't have made the team. We wouldn't have made the playoffs without Anthony Davis. Um, and this year, he's having another great season. He's averaging, I want to say, let me go ahead and get the exact numbers. He's averaging 29 points, which is fantastic on 50% shooting, and he's shooting 32% from three, which is about a little bit less than league average. I believe league average is about 33 to 35%, but he's capable of hitting that three-point shot. He shoots 81, shooting 81% from the free throw line this year, and he averages about 10 rebounds for his career. And this year he's averaging 13. He's now also averaging 4 assists, which is just amazing for a big man. Looking at his defensive stats, this year he's not as good as he's been in the past, particularly last year. This year, he's allowing his opponent to shoot 45%. But if we just go back to last year, he was allowing his opponent to shoot 39.8%, which is just fantastic. You really can't ask for anything better. And I believe this year he probably just mentally checked out with the Pelicans. Once he signed with Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, I kind of already had an idea that they were going to make a move either to the Lakers or the Celtics. But the only thing with the Celtics is the Celtics can't make a trade for Anthony Davis, a big trade, unless they trade Kyrie Irving, which would be defeating the purpose. Unless they wait until I want to say Kyrie's contract is up, and I believe that's the end of this season. But I'm the Lakers. I'm throwing everything at the Pelicans to get Anthony Davis. I'm throwing Kyle Kuzma. I'm throwing Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, uh, Josh Hart, uh, Zubac. I'm throwing everybody, cheerleaders, everybody, to get Anthony Davis because this is a once in a lifetime talent. The only thing that I don't like about Anthony Davis is that he isn't the most uh, aggressive guy at times. Just watching his games over the years, sometimes he tends to, I don't know if he's just frustrated, but sometimes he tends to just, you know, kind of disappear in the game. We all know that he can be dominant, but sometimes he's not as assertive as I think he should be. Another thing I don't like is that his field goal made percentage is 65% this year, and every year he's been averaging about 65 to 70% of his field goals being his shots, his points being assisted, and his unassisted shots has been hovering around 30 to 25%, somewhere around there. I would like to see him get a lot of more buckets without an assist, just because I believe he has the capability to be a dominant scorer to where he can tell anyone, throw me the ball on the post and let me just work. A lot of times you see him getting a lot of alleys, a lot of quick shots from the mid-range off of pick and pops, or pick and pops from the mid-range, or pick and pop from three. And I think to take his game to the next level, he's going to have to develop some type of go-to move, or just be more assertive and calling for the ball and dominating. And I believe whatever team he goes to, whether that's the Celtics or the Lakers or another team, the other star that he's playing with is going to demand that for him to be dominant, and to just basically say, I don't want to run this play. Everybody get out my way. I'm going to take this shot, and if they double team me, just get ready for the open three. I think that he definitely needs to bring that to his game. Besides that, he's a complete player. He can shoot it. He can, finish at the rim, mid-range, capable of shooting a three. He can pass it if a double team is coming. He's not great at defending in space, but he's definitely not bad. As far as big men on a switch defending the guards, I would say as far as big men, he's elite. Just because he's so long, and for a big man, he's pretty agile, to where he can give the guard on a switch that he's guarding some space, at least a foot or two of space, just because his arms are so long, to where even if he's slightly beat, he can recover because he already gave the guard so much space. But if I'm the Pelicans, I'm not sure if I rush to make this trade. You definitely want to have some type of urgency, but at the same time, you want to make sure you make the right move for the franchise. Just because you don't get Anthony Davis type players too often. And if the Lakers are offering Kuzma and Lonzo and Brandon Ingram and whoever else, and the Celtics are offering Gordon Hayward and Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier and whoever else, you still kind of want to wait and see if any team can offer you something better. Just because, even if you get all of those players I mentioned from either team, you still kind of losing the trade. Just because I believe if you're going to make a trade, you kind of want to do what the Spurs did, which is, if you can't get another superstar back, you want to at least get a star or a budding star. And I believe Kuzma could be a budding star, but still want to give him a few more games and a few more seasons before I start to call him that. But I think it's good for the NBA, just because you're in this era of the big three. There's no more one superstar on a team, and well, it was never really that. There was always some team that had at least 2 to 3 great players. And right now, I think it's good for the NBA just because the Warriors are so dominant. You need some team to at least be some type of real threat, or at least seem like a threat. The Rockets are looking better with Chris Paul returning, and Harden has just been going crazy. But at the end of the day, Chris Paul is still a 6-foot guard, and Harden tends to flame out in the playoffs against teams like the Warriors. I think they need one more piece, but I don't see them being able to get Anthony Davis, just because I don't believe they have enough pieces to trade. But definitely can't wait to see what team lands Anthony Davis, and hopefully whatever team that he goes to, they can take the Warriors 6 or 7 games and possibly win a championship, or at least make the finals really competitive and entertaining to watch, and not a repeat of the previous years.